What's up, MITx? This is your favorite teaching assistant, Yang Ma. Today I'm going to teach you about object-oriented programming in Python, or OOP. Now, what is OOP? OOP is a programming model that's focused on real-life objects instead of processes that only input and output data. So it focuses on things that you actually have here in real life, like people, employees, animals, cars, etc. Now, Python is a object-oriented programming language and uses classes in order to create objects that mirror real-life objects. So what we're going to do here today is make a class called MITx stuff. So with this class, we're going to mirror people who work for MITx, which could be me, or Miss Bell, or Eric Grimson. All classes in Python inherit from objects, so we're going to pass an object here as an argument. Now let's think about this. What attributes does every person working for MITx have? First name. Initialize. We're going to initialize it to nothing yet. And last name, same thing. Now we also need a constructor. So if you make an instance of the MITx stuff, so you make an object, you need to pass in some arguments in order to initialize an instance of the MITx stuff class. So we're going to do that by making a function called init. It stands for initialize. And init is going to take some arguments. The first one is always self. Self refers to the object that you're creating. Then we're going to do first name and then last name. So let's say you're making an instance of this class called nitish is MITx stuff. The first argument would not be self because it refers to nitish, but it's going to be first name. Nitish's first name is nitish. Last name is metal. When someone passes in these arguments, you want to make sure that first name and last name get set to those arguments. So the way we do that is by saying self dot first name, which refers to this one, the variable, is first name, which is this argument. And the same for last name. Self.last name is last name. So you pass in these arguments and you're going to set these two variables to those two arguments. So this would be nitish and this would be metal. Let's say you want to make this more complex, and instead of having just a class for all MITx stuff, you want to have a subclass. For example, you would have a subclass for a TA, a course lead, a lecturer. Let's say for this lesson we're going to have a class for a TA. We would pass in the superclass, which is MITx staff. So subclass, superclass, which refers to this right here. We could have a attribute which is unique to this class, TA class. For example, what makes TAs unique? They have an awesomeness level, right? Awesomeness level. We're going to initialize it to 0 because it's nothing yet. Then we're going to make a constructor also for this class that takes in some arguments. It's going to take in the same arguments as before. So first name, last name, plus awesomeness level. And just like before, we're going to make sure that self.awesomeness level is going to be set to the argument awesomeness level. How awesome is Nitish? Let's say 100. Now what happens if we create a TA instance? We're going to pass in these three arguments: first name, last name, awesomeness level. Awesomeness level is going to be handled in this constructor. We're going to set awesomeness level to 100 for Nitish. But what happens to first name and last name? Well, we could make attributes here, variables, for first name and last name. But why would we do this? The reason why we made MITx staff, the subclass, is because we can have this class handle the first and last name. So the way we're going to do this is by saying MITx staff dot init with arguments self first name last name. So the first and last name are going to be handled by the subclass, and the awesomeness level is going to be handled by this class, TA. Let's make one more class. We're going to call it toString, and the reason is we want to print out the information we have about the TA, who is also MITx staff. Self, which refers to the object you're creating, which is necessary to say. Return, we're going to have a placeholder for the first name, placeholder for the last name, has an awesomeness level of placeholder. Now we're going to fill in the placeholders by saying format self.firstName, self.lastName, self.awesomeness level. So this first placeholder is going to be first name, the second one last name, and the last one is going to be awesomeness level. Let's make one more object. Let's call it Ying. Is also ETA. First name is, you guessed it correctly, is Ying. Second one, Ma. Awesomeness level over 9,000. Now we're going to print Nitish to string, and we're also going to print Ying to string. If we run this, Nitish Metal has an awesomeness level of 100. Ying Ma has an awesomeness level of over 9,000. Shots fired, Nitish, shots fired. I'm roasting you. Okay guys, I hope everything was clear in the tutorial and you understood what I was trying to explain. Practice with this yourself, and also check out the code that I'm uploading to my GitHub. And happy coding guys, MITx baby!